I know, okay, not I feel like this is sort of
I
leaning
feel like
on
you wanted to say, let's see what happens when they don't get the circle.
yeah, basically, because
Oh my god,
no,
don't be
those are built
Twitch
to power
chat.
circle.
Don't do
It
that.
was a built to power circle, and then it was a Sosnovka circle, which yes, they don't land there, but they had a really quick transition over to Novo. They definitely had more work to do on that previous game. They looked great doing it, but they still, I think a lot of other teams would have wished to had that little bit of a leg up on the early rotation that they did. So it's if they can keep this up when the circle goes elsewhere, whether it's a hard shift away from them or even just a central circle, we'll see if this is going to be a consistent thing for them. But either way, looking really good so far.
Yeah, they absolutely are looking on fire. The shots are there. The aim is there. Let's see if they can find some more points for themselves today. Meanwhile, another team has looked pretty good. We'll see if Sonics gets shot at this game.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that they probably could have all been sitting on level 1 vests all last game and still finished the thing the same way as it ended up. And this is a team that is trying to chase down STK. And you know what? I'm rooting for him. I want to see him do it.
interesting. Draven here, trying to drop neck and neck with Singleton. Does Sig have a vehicle here? Okay, he spotted something through the trees that I wasn't able to see. Draven also has his own vehicle over there, so this one it should be fine for both squads, just passing by each other. Why? Unfortunate.
honk honk.
Yeah, a little honk honk, a little bit of beep beep, like bus drivers passing each other. Yeah, now they're gonna go back into boot spots. I thought that was gonna be something a little more exciting than it ended up being.
Well, fortunately, both of them had vehicles that they could instantly drop on. And, well, you got your wish. Circle pops,
Did?
and we are going hard up to the northwest. So, definitively not an oath circle.
I will say, now this is 2 games in a row that Tactical 8 and Prozone Snake have an opportunity. And Tactical 8 this time around, they're not going to be rotating for the first 3 to 4 minutes to get into their initial drop point. They have a little bit more time. Prozone Snake as well. Previous game, they were around the Ferry Pier area and sent a couple of players over before the rest of them followed up along with Sonics and that kerfuffle we saw there. Weren't able to follow up throughout the rest of the game as effectively as they would have wanted to. But this is a new area of the map. It's a new circle. It's totally new compounds and everything else involved. It's actually one of my favorite parts of the game of Erangel to watch.
Same.
So I'm really excited to see what happens.
Yeah, I love that. I love that northern, the bunny ear, we'll call it. Those little hills just to the north of North Georgia. One thing I'm going to keep an eye on, Cam, is we talk a lot about all the teams that we have in the lobby that are just ridiculously good, right? Shoot to kill, obviously, Sonics, Oath, Veritas. These guys are absolutely nuts. But in this game in particular, in this circle, all of our teams that kind of have priority on the circle right off the bat are all kind of sitting a little bit lower in the leaderboard. So you got Tactical 8, you've got Gravity, Pros Don't Snake, One Eye Open, Ascendance, all kind of already inside this circle. And if they get their looting done quickly enough, they can kind of go wherever they want to go. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on these teams specifically to see how they play these games, where they get this circle favor, and if they're able to capitalize it. And if not, why?
Yeah, phase 1, it's a hard argument to make that it is full circle favored, but it does, as you mentioned, give you a starting point more than other teams. And more than anything else, they are not going to have to worry about crossing bridges. Even One Eye Open and Ascendance that you called out, they do have a little bit of bridge crossing to care about. Yes, there is part of Erangel that is south of that river that is in this circle. The chances of that being a main point in play are not enough for any of the teams who have a possibility to transition to the north side aren't going to want to make that transition. So really, it's just going to be teams like all the other teams outside the circle having to go into those bottlenecks. Beck now arriving onto the plane crash, but so are Prozone Snake. Beck arrived up quietly. PDS didn't. I don't know if they're aware of Beck's existence, and he could get an initial knock, potentially 2, and already ruin Prozone Snake's 3rd game.
Well, Beck just doing a little information gathering right now, because you can see the rest of his team now arriving on the backside. Now, if they cut their engines as well, did they cut them? Yes, they did. So PDS should not be any the wiser of what's going on right now. So we'll see how Sen decides to wrap around this. You see Ripper still in the vehicle.
Oh,
Thought he
not
might have
good.
been going off to the north, but yep, they have spotted each other out. Pros Don't Snake has no idea still, as Beck going to switch over to the barrel. Probably the good play. Ripper going to continue to wrap around, and now the rest of PDS has arrived as well. And here we go. The shots are going to come out and not going to find the down right off the bat as Dirty Zing gets knocked very low. The grenade's going to come in. It's not going to find where it needed to go. And there you go. Sociopath still trying to see if he can wrap around. And oh, he seed swaps him. Zraven gets roasted as he tried to come in for a sneaky flank, but Sociopath eats his lunch. Skaska, meanwhile, gets traded out on the plane crash. Maji going to try to push in this. This is a guy that I've been talking about going back to last year. Maji, I feel he was nuts. And Beck clutches the shot out with Dirties in. It's down to just Sociopath. He's got a little bit of moving cover to work with. The grenade's going to come in. Not going to find its home. I think Lister actually still alive as well, coming from the southern part of this plane crash.
Molly comes out, but it's a little bit too late. Maji and Beck have already backed off. Now Sociopath, oh no, Maji's actually still up close and personal, not expecting this push by Socio. It is going to be a trade, and Lister needs to come big now. It is a 1 versus 2 for him. Ripper on the high ground, however. The height difference between Ripper and Beck could make this incredibly difficult. The Molly does come out, and it lands on him if the bullets didn't already. So a good finish there for Ascendance. I was prepared to call out Beck for not taking those shots initially, and I thought that PDS had a good potential revival of themselves, especially with that Sociopath seat swap. But nope, Ascendants are going to hold strong, but they do lose at least one player. And here comes Tactical 8.
They lost Zraven, and look at this Tac 8 just coming up. Oh, Lush.
He moved, okay?
Lush. Okay. Well, now Ascendance is going to bunker down. They've got plenty of smokes now. They've already looted the corpses of their rivals. And we can see the rest of TAC 8 still pushing up and in. Nobody going for any flanking positions here just yet. And boy, Cameron, I said I wanted to keep a close eye on these teams that got circle favor early. Apparently, the play is to always just crash onto plane crash and just get in a 3-way fight. I guess that's the call.
I guess. I mean, these are teams that really want these points. So going for these early engagements is definitely a way to at least try and do it. I think Tactical 8 are in a really good opportunity here. Ribbon takes a lot of damage, actually gets fully knocked in the smoke, I think, by Zealot, and they're going to continue to push forward. Will they be aware of Beck's angle, however?
It doesn't look like they are. Beck holding it down from the inside of the plane, waiting for somebody to peek. Tactical 8 not pushing too far just yet. William will take a bunch of damage. Oh, he's looking. Zealot's looking. He's going to spot him too. As Beck takes a few shots, not going to get the down though. He's going to peep around the side, not going to get it either. Oh, be careful, Beck. They are very much watching that as an errant grenade will come in from Maji. Not going to find anything. And Lush has a really nice flanking angle right here. We'll see if he can sneak up on Ripper and Maji. I don't think they were paying attention to this other side. And Ripper starting to creep out a little bit. The grenade's going to come in from Lush, and it's going to find Ripper. Maji will go down to Steezy. Lush going to come in and try to get the push as he finds Ripper once again. Can he hit it? Oh, and now he's getting shot in the back from Baja. Oh, no.
It's still a really good fight. It's taking a little slow. Beck gets taken out as he pushes out from that plane body through the smoke. A very good methodical approach here by Tactical 8. And it's just very, very difficult once they came in for Ascendance to try and put this back into their favor. A good knock by Ripper, but it's not going to lead to anything. 3 kills for T8 should be able to remain as 4 up. But as you mentioned, yes, Sonics, they're now arriving in. They might be hearing this. No, they spot this. They want in on this. This is such an interesting fight string of engagements. And the circle coming in this direction is only going to make it even more chaotic.
And of all places to be fighting around, it's the plane crash here. As you see, Duel also kind of making a little bit of a drive-by here, but that's more as a result of the circle pop. all these teams that are off to the east are going to be having to drive through this. And now Sonics, they're going to be finding their attention kind of split here as Liberate is going to drive right through their net. H-Win, going to take a few shots at T8, going to take a few shots in return as Lush does hit the bolty shot there onto H-Win. It will be a body, but I think Sonics maybe is getting a little bit too hot with all these teams having to make their rotations around this.
Yeah, they have significantly less cover than Tactical 8 do, so if a crash does come from the east side, they're going to be the first ones, and it's actually going to be Penta to take out H-Win. But they're the only teams in engagement. One Eye Open taking down Liberate. Everyone trying to come in from not just the full east side, the about like 70% of the east side because the river is cutting in play as it is. But now Veritas are arriving. Veritas in early game fights. They're still going to keep up with it, even though Jazza does go down, traded out by Keenan.
I'm not sure what Jazz's play was there. I mean, you could see Keenan keeping an eye on that building. I mean, maybe that was supposed to be a bait from Jazza to see if they could get somebody to peek, but he ends up going a little bit too far into it. Now it's just a full-on crash here as Bahawaka has been down. Michael will take a little bit of damage, dropping down to about half HP. Look at that Shrimsy taking shots in the back as well. Keenan will go down and get flushed by Hello Senpai as Veritas is starting to fall apart. D-Treats has been taken out as well. Wait, he got taken out by Virtue. Virtue down to the south actually had a line of sight onto this, and I think he might have been going in for a wrap, and Virtue just picked him out, and now it's just down to Michael.
I'll be real. If Michael does go out, if he without taking out the rest of Liberate, it's not going to do much on their standings. I think one reason why they might be taking so many early engagements as aggressively as they are is because they are secure in the top 16. It's just trying to get into that top one because that's where the money changes for them, and also practice for exciting engagements. Exactly. But for Liberate, this could mean a lot. Holding off against Veritas, then holding off against Virtue, as well as Sonics. If they can take care of all of these enemies, this could be a good collection of points for them to really try and make that last second ride up the leaderboard. Guab already spotting out Sonics a couple of shots, and that puts more pressure on them to remove Michael so they have fewer opponents to focus on.
Guabi's just going to be playing around in between the compounds. Michael does have a bunch of smokes out. He's going to just rush, and Bahawaka will clean that out. That's going to be it for Veritas. As you said, Liberate in a position to where they need as many points as they can get. And honestly, Virtue, who's trailing in from the eastern side right now outside of circle, they were peeking in, seeing if they could maybe get an angle on it. They only find one, but that is some desperately needed points for them as well. Here's we cut in on Oath. They've been trading shots back and forth. They've lost one already. We'll see if they can find anything off of Fabled. Actually, no, Pat went down. He got rezzed, though. So Fabled very split up. Oh, my God, this circle.
No! This circle left enough of the southern of the river in play, just enough for this to happen. And now One Eye Open, Hardships, and Rumblers, who are all like, man, this is going to be a hard game. How are we going to make a rare cross? They are now loving it. Rumblers do not have to move. They can just deal damage to all these teams crossing over the bridge, along with One Eye Open and Hardships. Not as much for them, but still, everyone else are now going to have to struggle.
This will be really, really nice for Rumblers if they can collect some points off of this. They did really well in game number one, kind of struggled in game number two, but now they get a hardship going in their favor here in game three, and we'll see if they can collect something off of it. Hardships, they could also do with a little bit of help, although they're fairly secure in their final spot. I doubt we'll see them drop all the way down to 16th. Oath, meanwhile, still trading back and forth with Fabled. Haxetti gonna shoot him as he rounds the tree. And now Haxetti getting a little bit of shots in him from Snakers. So you can also see in your mini-map, Gravity, just off to the north of this, is taking shots as well. So Oath very much kind of between a rock and a hard place here. As Fabled looks like they're just going to try to pull away.
I mean, yeah, they definitely want to take this opportunity. If they haven't, all three of these teams were locked into this engagement that none of them really had opportunity up until now in Fabled to retreat to try and get across that road. Sonic's here crashing onto Duel and Cube, just barely inside the next zone. But it's enough, I think, for them to have an opportunity to try and break into the next.
Oh, no.
See, there it is. Does find the knock. Does get the full kill onto Lynxy. And now it's a grenade damage, but no knock onto Wooly.
Need some pretty questionable throwables on the part of Duel here. Just going way too far. We'll see if they can find something off of it. Sonics does get the res off. H1 still holding down from the far side. You see Wooly and Penta in the buildings. Cherry, meanwhile, was in the sniper tower. I believe he is repositioned since then. H1 will find Penta, and that's going to put a lot of pressure now onto Wooly as the full crash is coming out from Sonics. You see all the smoke still laying down. Cherry is working the wall. Meanwhile, Shrimsy going to take some Molotov damage. That's a good molly coming out from Cherry to provide some support for his teammate. Wooly will get taken out as Sonics just methodically pushing through this building.
Once they're able to get inside, able to isolate the players that Duel had spread so thin from building to building, they were just able to focus in 2 versus 1, 3 on 1, and now it's just Cherry a 1 versus 4 to try and make something happen. Vehicle, a little bit of a bait. He's not going to bite, but he is now going to peek out, finds one knock. Not a lot of damage against him. Could find an opportunity for a second. Tiggleton trying to run around the side. Cherry gets 2.
Oh!
Cherry gets 3. It's now just H1 to clutch this out. Cherry somehow turning this back into a winnable engagement.
The raid boss himself going to be stepping it up here in the late game for Duel. Cherry in the 1v1 versus H-Win. He's got a nice little angle there. He can throw the flashbang. Will hit. What is H-Win doing? Going to try to go for the res, but the flashbang's going to pull him off. So H-Win has to reposition here. And Cherry just going to come around the corner and spot him out. The shots. Oh, H-Win nails him. Does way more damage to Cherry. Cherry doesn't land anything on him. He's going to come up over the top, and H-Win will win the duel again. H-Win today is on fire in these 1v1s.
Oh, man, caught in the jump. Super unfortunate timing for Cherry there. Didn't even have a first aid kit. Not a lot of options at the end. But still, even just making it that close just shows how strong of a player Cherry is. Back over here on Rumblers, they lost Gaxi. I believe they tried to send 2 of them down into South George. Got punished. Pulled the survivor back, and now just going to stay on top of this mountain. But they're getting pushed by Liberate. While Oath struggle to find their way into the circle. This is what, see Oath, this is what everyone else feels like when they play Melt to Power.
I mean, unfortunately for Oath, I mean, this is all like blue damage. They were disengaged from the fight with Gravity. They were all 4 still alive. I'm not sure. I mean, I did see 1 go down and die to blue, but I don't know how Relo managed to be the only one left. He's going to find himself a lovely bush. Fantastic foliage to play around here. Meanwhile, Gravity still pulling in. D-Rich and the rest of the boys pulling up onto the lower part of Everest. On the other hand, we also had Liberate finally wrapping in. They've got Bahawaka making his way up onto Everest as well, and Virtue has wrapped all the way around the southern part of the mountain. So Rumblers finding themselves all of a sudden with a lot of company around them.
They should focus on the east and the south. The north should be pinned down by everyone who is hanging out in Georgia Pole, and then even Hardships who are in that sort of separate compound between George and Hospital. Yeah, see Gravity facing off against Sonics. Very similar teal colors. Can be a little confusing, but no! Sonics are finally eliminated. A little bit of a bump there. Isn't that a speed running tactic? The jump or something?
Yeah, sure. We'll call it their wave. We're wave dashing in PUBG now, boys.
It's not even. That's not. Okay, whatever. It's not much further away than I was, though. To be fair, but yeah, close over here. We're talking about Virtue and Liberate sneaking up, and I wonder if Los is even aware of it. Just the way that he's moving around and positioning. I don't know. We'll have to see, because over here it's crowded in South George. It's crowded in Craters.
It was crowded. Crowded everywhere here. Los actually going to lose the 1v1 to Hello Senpai. We'll see. Bahawaka got knocked pretty low, but the problem for Los is he's got nobody here to really provide him any support, and he's going to get flushed out as Waldo is just going to go and move his way up the hill, try to rejoin McCoy, as now One Eye Open is starting to crash up on the top of this, and that might actually protect Rumblers in a way here from any further pushing from Virtue and Liberate. Is One Eye Open is just drawing all the attention in the world right now to them. Oh,
right when the circle shifts away from them. Okay, so it looks funny. One Eye Open had nowhere else to safely send it to outside of that. It's just super unfortunate that it's still not in the circle.
It's not.
So I am backing off of the color roll. I don't know what's going to happen here because all the teams that are not already in containers are going to have a really rough time making their way there. Plain and simple.
Yeah, yeah. This is definitely going to be some rough stuff as we see some shots traded out between Rumblers and One Eye Open. Manhardy taken pretty low here. Winlow will find Batty Lull though, get the quick down and flush. So One Eye Open, despite the fact that they drew everybody's attention on the way up here, they're finding some kills here. Virtue, meanwhile, never really managed to find their way away from the base of the mountain here. Delta going to find Hello Senpai, but it's going to get traded out onto Manhardy. And Hello Senpai will get flushed here as One Eye Open actually winning some fights. Baja Waka will get taken about half HP by a well-placed grenade from Delta, as Delta going to push into the 1v1. He's going to spot out Super, not the target he was intending to find. But it'll be good enough here, as now the blue has started pushing in. Baja Waka will flush Super. Super will go down. Delta will finish off Baja. And One Eye Open somehow, despite the fact that they got here late, just cleans up.
If Rumblers had all 4 up, then I think Rumblers would have just taken full control of this mountain. But because everyone was so wounded, they arrived with such confidence, and it made it difficult for the teams to really put up much of a fight. They were holding so many different angles, and winning those engagements is the big thing. It doesn't matter how many people you have if you don't land your shots. And Winlow finishes off Naka. Virtue now down. They can focus 100% onto Rumblers, but they don't have a lot of time because there is just under a minute left. On Hardy going back to his vehicle, I don't know if that's just coincidence or if they're preparing to make a vehicle send somewhere.
Definitely not an easy push for One Eye Open. Waldo will find Manhardy. You can see Rumblers has great terrain to work with, but McCoy gets spotted out by Delta. Waldo will flush out. I believe he'll try to flush out Winlow. Winlow actually going down to this blue. And there you go. Waldo will get finished off. And wait, is that One Eye Open all dead too?
Yeah, Delta was the only survivor taken out by the blue. So they pick up a good number of points, which is, I think, the most they could have hoped for, especially after the Phase 5 shift, because they wouldn't have survived this next rotation down into containers. Hardships did, though. And so they've been able to group up a fair bit with the 3 teams that are in, Fabled, Tactical 8, and Team Clueless. But where is the next circle going to go? It's going to give a little bit of room and space for the teams outside, for Gravity, and for whatever remains of Zenith and Oath.
I mean, Zenith is just cyberbullying Gravity right now. Gravity found a little bit of trench to hide behind, but unfortunately, they're going to lose 2, as I believe it's just Lipson and one more that have a little bit of a trench that doesn't have LOS on anybody. Fable going to try to just blind run across. William's going to find one, get the flush as well. Hella will go down to Steezy, and that is the end of Fabled's tale. Tactical 8 making their way through these crates very efficiently, but now they've got to figure out how to get past Team Clueless.
It's not even just Clueless. It's that open area there that the sightlines could also be held by Zenith. Hardships, though, they want to split into a 2-2. 2 holding out, actually going into containers. We'll see what happens there. And then 2 on the mountain. They see the buggy. They suspect Relo. This is Relo, though. This is very much a player that can win a 1 versus 2. And in fact, because of that, they're backing off. They don't even know who it is, but it doesn't matter. It's a little bit risky. Lobes gonna push on foot. Relo in the shrubbery gets 1.
Oh my god, he's in monster. Chubba will take him out, but not before Relo gets the flush. And that's Hardships losing 1 to a snaky Relo. But you know what? I mean, even with 3, I really like this split that Hardships has here.
Yeah. Chubba, they're not going to get pushed by Gravity, or at least I can't imagine Gravity would make such an aggressive push onto Chubba's position. And so as long as, hopefully he can find some angles through those trees that are sort of in his way, he could give a lot of support to Maluk and J-Sync, who are in the edge of containers. Right now, though, it's going to be a fight between Tactical 8 and Clueless. Tactical 8 currently spreading out. They have a little bit of room in this next phase without having to cross, but the smokes are beginning to deploy as they can start to press the attack onto Clueless's area. NHS, though, he's holding the angle, spotted by Steezy.
It's going to be a nice Molotov coming in from Steezy, just a little bit long. Just a little bit long. And the NHS will dodge that for the time being, but it's going to make him question re-peeking that. Steezy makes the run across. The big problem for everybody right now is Zenith. I mean, 4 strong in this compound. They have so much cover to work with. They've got high ground here, as you can see. Shinboy and Poonage just peeking back and forth. It looks like Lush has a good idea where Hard Shifts is as well. Hard Shifts not over peaking for the time being. Tactical 8 has, well, they got a number of issues to work with right now. We'll see how they decide to work with it. Circle? Okay. All right. Interesting.
Kills for Zenith. Who ordered kills? It says delivery says for Zenith. There's a bunch of kills here that I have. I'm gonna need you to sign for them, please.
Well, they got to sign for them first because they don't deliver them to you unless you sign. Believe me, I know. It's very annoying, very frustrating. We'll see if team. Yeah, exactly. They knock and they don't give you your package. It's annoying. I hate it. We'll see if Team Clueless can actually pick up anything off of this. I mean, they've been just big chilling inside these crates. I don't know if I've seen a shot come out from any of them in quite some time here. As looks like, okay, they will take a few shots over here at Hard Shifts and Maluk, but that's going to be the sign for T8 to go. They get the down into NHS, and look at the big opening that gives them through the smoke. 101 is going to keep peeking. Lush going to spot him, going to force him to pull back. As Nick 101 does find Weem. Sharu and Hambino, though, this is like a haunted house of death. As, Lush gets taken out by Hambino. Good shooting. Steezy and Zealot, meanwhile. Steezy didn't see the molly. He goes down to it from coming through the smoke, and Zealot is the last one up. Do you go for the res? Oh, well. Don't have to worry about that now. Team Clueless finishes them off and keeps 3 alive as Zenith just sits here wishing that they had an angle onto that.
Luke made his way to Chubba. Chubba pushed forward after that circle shift, tried to get away from Contentious because they knew how rough it would be. Kickstart though, spots somehow. I wouldn't have even seen that, I don't think. Through a car and a bush. Get a little bit of damage onto Clueless. These teams don't have to move too far except for perhaps gravity, and, well, we see what's happening to Lipson. It's just Pankill remaining, hiding behind a tree, a rock as well that he could maybe run to, but this position is not in the circle.
What a brutal, brutal game this has been with circle shifts and everything just going all different ways. Kickstart will find Pankill as Zenith finally starting to leave their compound and start stretching around to see what they can find. I think they have a good idea where Hard Shifts is. They're going to send Roth and Kiki. Poon and Shinboy, meanwhile, will stay inside the compound, and Team Clueless doesn't have to leave their shelter just yet. But I don't know how much they'll be able to pick up from those crates. It looks like they're just looting right now, seeing if they can gather any smokes off of the TAC 8 boys.
Yeah, that'd be useful, but I think it's going to be useful for anyone in this circle. Zenith, they're spreading out in an aggressive fashion to try and take control, but they have a couple of ridges. Chubba is holding the angle where Roth could easily peek out on. This is incredibly uncomfortable for everyone all of a sudden. Grenade comes out, doesn't make its way to the rock.
Yeah, Chubba just kind of sending it and praying. Got a good idea. I think Chubba, or well, actually that was Maluk. Chubba think maybe heard the footsteps of Roth. Knows that he might be a little bit close, and nice grenade coming through. Not going to do any damage though from Kickstart. As they got to keep that smoke wall going because they don't want to overexpose themselves to Clueless. But Clueless hasn't even really, peeked over in this direction. I think Nick 101 might have somewhat of a line. Hambino maybe, but there's just enough hills around here to make it a pain in the butt. As Poonage and Shinboy still holding it down at the compound. Start making their way over here soon. Flashes are coming out because that's pretty much all we got left. We got one molly in the pocket of Kickstart, and I imagine he'd like to save that until he's absolutely 100% sure to hit it.
Ooh, sends it out. It's not the right bush. They're not checking Chubba. They don't know how close he is. If he gets the initial knock here, it could spell curtains for Zenith because just Clueless. They're not in a good position in the circle, but they have a very nice angle. Zenith need to get rid of Hard Shifts immediately, or it actually might be too late already because Shuru knocks Shinboy. And now Chubba, he's going aggressive. He spots them all in the corner, gets one, gets a second.
Oh, Punich saving it for right now. Maluk gonna come over the top, and Punich saves the day. But how much attention has Clueless been paying here? And they've got it. A big win for Team Clueless, a team that desperately needed some points to go in their direction.